Hello guys, this is Gaurav here and I hope you guys are doing great. Have you ever got puzzled selecting features for your machine learning model? Well, feature selection is one of the important steps for reducing the number of input variables while developing your predictive model. Since it reduces overfitting, improves the accuracy, reduces complexity of the model, making it much more easier to interpret and also making the model train a bit faster. So in this video, I'll be sharing various feature selection methods to get your machine learning models perform better and efficiently. So without wasting any time, let's get started. We all have seen data sets. Some are small, some are medium, or some are tremendously large in size. It becomes very challenging to process the data sets which are very large, at least significant enough to cause a processing bottleneck. The training time and performance of machine learning algorithm depends heavily on the features in a dataset. Ideally, we should only retain those features in datasets that actually help our machine learning model to learn something. Having too many features poses a problem well known as a curse of dimensionality. Unnecessary and redundant features not only slow down the training time but also they affect the performance of algorithm. The process of selecting most suitable features for training the machine learning model is called feature selection. Now, before jumping directly towards the coding part, let's discuss three important reasons for performing feature selection for your machine learning model. First and most importantly, it reduces overfitting. As reduced features lead to enhanced generalization, it reduces overfitting of the model. Secondly, it improves the accuracy of the model. As there are less misleading data, the accuracy of model generally increases. And finally, it reduces the training time of your model, as less data indirectly contributes toward faster training of your algorithm. Now coming towards the coding part, I'll be importing some required libraries such as importing pandas as PD and importing numpy as NP and execute this. Now here I'll be importing our data using pd.readcsv and the file path of my data and saving in variable say df. Now coming towards the data, I'll be using mobile price classification dataset readily available on Kaggle. I'll be sharing the link in my description below. Now talking about the data is all about the mobile specifications including battery power, what is the dual SIM, does it support dual SIM, is 4G available in mobile or not, then what is the mobile weight, and many such features. And finally, a target variable which is price range, which is from 0 to 3, where 0 represents mobiles having low cost and 3 represents the mobiles having very high cost. Now getting back to the code, we'll be executing df.head5 to show top 5 rows of our data. Let's execute this and our data has been displayed over here. Now before dealing with any data, it's always great to see whether null values are present in our value in our data. So we'll execute df.isNull.sum to see whether any null values are there, and we can see there are no such null values present in our data. Now to select the best features for our model, we'll be using two methods, which is filter methods and wrapper methods. Now coming towards the filter methods, these can be broadly categorized into two categories, which is univariate and multivariate filter methods. The univariate filter methods are the type of methods where individual features are ranked according to specific criteria. That is, the top n features are then selected, and statistical test can be used to select those features that have strongest relation with the output variable, that is target variable. Mutual information, ANOVA test, and chi-square are some of the most popular methods for univariate feature selection. Now to execute our filter method, we'll be importing select k-best and chi-square from sklearn.featureSelection. So let's execute this. Now proceeding further, what we'll do is we'll separate our independent and dependent features. So our independent columns from 0 to 20 will be stored in our variable say x, and we'll be saving our target variable, that is target column, which is price range in our case, and we'll save this in variable say y. Now here what I'll do is apply select kbest class to extract top 10 features or the best features which I want. Now I'll execute select kbest. Now here it takes the two functions, which is a scoring function and k. Now as our target variable is a classification one like 0, 1, 2, 3, I'll be using chi-square. Now say if my target variable was continuous, or if I was dealing with a regression task, I would have been using f regression function over here. Now this k function, it represents how many features you want to extract from our data. Now since I want to extract top 10 features, I will be passing k is equal to 10. For example, I would have to extract 12 features, then I would pass 12 instead of 10 and save this in best features. Now since we have our select k-best model ready with us, which is stored in best features, we'll be executing best features.fit x and y, which are our independent and dependent variables, and store the results in variable say fit. Now in later steps, what we'll do is we'll extract the scores from this fit for the respective features and store those scores in df scores, and also we'll be extracting the respective columns from x.columns and store this in df columns. Now after storing the specific information in these separate data frames, say df scores and df columns, what we'll do is we'll concat both data frames into one and we'll store this in feature scores, and here we'll be naming those columns as specification, that is specs, and scores. Let's execute this. And now let's print top 10 best features of our data. Now here we can see that RAM has the higher significance ratio followed by pixel height and battery power and so on. Now here the problem is that the select kbest doesn't take into account the multicollinearity factor. So whatever values we are getting here, this may happen that these features may have multicollinearity with each other. Now let's discuss about the next method, which is variance threshold, which comes under the filter method for selecting our features. So if the features have a very low variance, which is very close to zero, they are close to being constant and thus does not add any value to our model. So it would be very nice to get rid of them and hence lower the complexity. Please note that variance also depends on scaling of the data. So scikit-learn has an implementation for variance threshold that does this precisely. For that purpose, we'll be importing variance threshold from our sklearn.feature selection. And now here, we'll be importing the same data, which is our mobile classification data, and saving in our new data frame, which is df1. Let's execute this. And we'll see the shape. So our data frame has 2000 rows and 21 columns. Now coming towards the next step, we'll be executing variance threshold, in which we'll be passing on threshold as zero point 0.1. So the features having variance less than zero point 0.1 will be excluded from our data, and we'll save this in thresh filter. Now what we'll do is we'll execute thresh filter dot fit transform and our data frame df1. So let's execute this. Now we can see that before executing variance threshold, our shape was 2000 rows and 21 columns. Now let's see what's the shape of our data. So we can see we have 2000 rows and just 20 columns. So I guess one column having variance less than zero point 0.1 has been excluded from our data. Now coming towards the next part, we know that correlation between the output observations and the input features is very important and such features should be retained. However, if two or more than two features are mutually correlated, they convey reductant information to the model. So to find this, we'll be using heat maps to see the problem of multicollinearity between our features. So for that purpose, yet again we'll be using our mobile classification data and we'll be saving the data in our new variable, say df2. Let's execute this. And now here We'll be repeating the previous steps such as separating our independent and dependent features in X and Y. And here we'll be importing some visualization libraries which will require, such as importing matplotlib as PLT and importing Seaborn as SNS. Now let's proceed to plot our heat map. For that purpose, we'll be executing df.core, where df is the data frame of our variable x, which includes the independent columns. Now df.core extracts the correlation between features and saves in core mat. We'll set the size as 18 by 14 image and we'll be plotting Seaborn, executing seaborn.heatmap core map, and we'll keep our annotation as true, and let's execute plt.show. After we execute this command, we can see that our heat map has been plotted. I have just zoomed out so as to see our heat map properly. Now we can see that the column, our features 3G and 4G are related with each other, having relation of positive relation of 0.58, which is indeed a problem of multicollinearity. So it's better to drop either of one feature. We can drop 3G or we can drop 4G. Also, this is the same case for the features PC and FC. Similarly, for our screen height and screen width and pixel height and pixel width. Now, since we are done with the filtering methods for selecting our features, let's jump to the wrapper methods. So wrapper methods use a combination of features to determine predictive power, and they are based on the greedy search algorithms. The wrapper method will find the best combination of the variables, and they will actually test each feature against test models that it builds with them to evaluate the results. Out of all three methods, this is very computationally intensive. It is not recommended that this method be used on a high number of features, and if you do not use this feature selection properly, then you might even end up overfitting the model. So common wrapper methods include stepwise subset selection, forward stepwise, and backward stepwise, which is also known as RFE. So in this video, we'll be going with backward stepwise RFE. So we'll start off by importing important libraries such as importing pandas SPD, importing RFE from sklearn.feature selection, importing linear regression from sklearn.linear model, and regarding the data, we'll be fetching California housing data from sklearn.datasets. Now once we have imported some important libraries, we'll be extracting the data California housing in the variable data. Now this data will be in array format, and we'll be processing the data in array format as well. So in X we'll be adding our independent features, and in Y we'll be adding our dependent features, which is target. And let's execute this. Now just for demonstration purpose to show how our data looks like, I'll be converting my X, which are independent features, into data frame, and will be saving in dfn1. So let's see how our data looks like. So we can see we have 8 independent variables or features. Now as we discussed earlier, our RFE, which is recursive feature elimination model for selecting the features, is a greedy optimization algorithm. So basically it aims to find the best performing feature subset. It repeatedly creates models and keeps aside the best or the worst performing features at each iteration. It constructs the next model with the left features until all the features are exhausted. It then ranks the features based on the order of the elimination. So for that purpose, I'll be using a simple linear regression model. So we'll execute linear regression and we'll save this model in our model. So the model which we'll be using will be linear regression. Now proceeding further, we'll be initializing our RFE model. So in this we'll be passing two values. Firstly, estimator is model, which is linear regression in our case, and n features to select. So this is basically how much features you want to select from your data. So here I have just passed 3 just for demonstration purpose, and we'll be saving this model in RFE. Let's execute this. Now coming towards the final steps, we'll be executing rfe.fit independent and our dependent features. And finally, we'll be executing rfe.transformx to get the transform data with the selected columns and store this in xtransform. So let's execute this. Now, once we are done extracting the transform data and saving in xtransform, just for demonstration purpose, we'll be transforming our xtransform into pandas.data frame to see how our data looks like. So let's execute this and we'll execute dfn.head. Now finally we can see the selected features by our model. So from these 8 features, these 3 features were selected by our model, which is much more effective for our data. Well, this was all from my side and I hope this video was helpful. Please do like and share this video as much, and please don't forget to subscribe. These things motivate me to bring more such amazing content with you all every week. You don't need to worry about the code. I'll be sharing this code in description. And finally, comment down your thoughts and reviews about this video. So signing off for today. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, take care, and bye bye.